Also, it tends to develop a keen, alert imagination because it is a habit which keeps one continuously seeking new and more efficient ways of rendering useful service. Now, that's an important thing, isn't it? It develops your imagination because you begin to look around to see how many places, how many ways and means there are of helping other people to find themselves. And in helping the other fellow to find himself, you find yourself. Incidentally, one of the most outstanding things that I discovered in my research was that when you have a problem or an unpleasant situation and you don't know how to solve it, you've done everything you know, you've tried every source that you know anything about, and you're still at a stalemate, there is always one thing that you can do. And if you'll do that one thing, the chances are that you not only will solve your problem, but you'll learn a great lesson. What is that one thing that you can do? Find somebody who has an equal or a greater problem and start where you stand, then and there, to help that other person. And lo and behold, it unlocks in you something, some cells of the brain. It unlocks some cells that permits infinite intelligence to come into your brain and give you the answer to the solution of your problem. Now, I don't know why that works. But do you know how I know that it does work? Do you know why I can make that statement so positive and not qualified? Do you know how I arrived at that decision? By trying it out hundreds and hundreds of times myself. And by seeing it tried out by hundreds and hundreds of times by my students whom I have recommended to do that same thing. What a simple thing that is. I don't know what it does to you. I don't know why it works. A lot of things in life I don't know. A lot of things you don't know. And some that you do know that you don't do much about. Now, this is one of them that I don't know anything about, but I do something about. I follow the law because I know that if I need my own mind to be opened up to receive opportunity, the best way in the world to open it up is to start looking around to see how many other people I can help. And also, it develops that important factor of personal initiative. You know, it gets you into the habit of looking around for something useful to do and going out and doing it without somebody telling you to do it. And that's a mighty important thing. You know, that old man procrastination he's a sour old bird, and he causes a lot of trouble in this world. People putting off things until day after tomorrow, which they should have done the day before yesterday. And we're all guilty of it, every one of us. I'm not free of it, I know, and I know you're not. But I'm freer of it than I was a few years back, I'll tell you that. I can find a lot of things to do now. Why do I find them? Because I get joy out of doing them. And any time you're going the extra mile, you're going to get joy out of what you're doing. Otherwise, you won't be going the extra mile. And it's going to develop this quality of personal initiative and help you overcome this quality of procrastination. It also serves to build the confidence of others in one's integrity and general ability. And it aids one in mastering the destructive habit of procrastination. It develops definiteness of purpose without which one cannot hope for success. That alone would be enough to justify it. It develops definiteness of purpose. It gives you an objective so that you don't go round and round in circles like a goldfish in a bowl, always coming back to where you started with nothing that you didn't start out with. Definiteness of purpose comes out of this business of going the extra mile. And I'll tell you another thing that it does. That's not in my notes. It enables you to make your work a joy instead of a burden. In other words, you get to where you love it. And I think maybe that if you're not engaged in the labor of love in life, you're wasting a lot of your time. I think one of the greatest joys in the world is one's being permitted to engage in the thing that he would rather do than all other things. And surely when you're going the extra mile, you're doing just exactly that because you don't have to do it. Nobody expects you to do it. Nobody asks you to do it. Certainly no employer would ask his employees to go the extra mile. Oh, he might ask to help out once in a while, but as a regular thing, he wouldn't do that. So it's something that you do on your own initiative, and it gives dignity to labor. It gives dignity, even if you're doing nothing but digging a ditch, and you're doing it because you're helping somebody. You have a certain dignity attached to that takes the fatigue and the unpleasantness out of the labor. What is the most important application you ever made in your life of this business of going the extra mile, out of which you got the greatest amount of joy? Now think hard, please. Tell me.
Being married.
What?
Being married.
Being married? Well, that's getting pretty hot. How about before getting married? Yeah. Believe me, I've spent a lot of time burning midnight oil and later than that. And I didn't consider it hard work at all. Also, it was my own idea. I'd only use my initiative, but I got a lot of joy out of doing it, and I made it pay off. Marvelous thing, how long you can go when you're courting the girl of your choice or being courted by the man of your choice. Marvelous how much sleep you can lose and still not be seriously hurt by it. Wouldn't it be a wonderful thing if you could put the same attitude into your relations with people professionally or in the business that you put into courtship? Wouldn't that be a wonderful thing? And wouldn't this be a wonderful world to live in? We're going to start back sparking again. It's going to start at home with our own mates. Believe me, I couldn't begin to tell you the number of married couples that I've started in on a new sparking spree. And a lot of joy out of it. Saves a lot of friction, a lot of argument. Cuts down expenses. Go ahead and laugh. Do you good. Now, I don't mean to be facetious about this. I mean, I'm very serious about it when I say that there is one of the finest places in the world to start going the extra mile. When you start going the extra mile with somebody that you haven't been going with, sit down and have a little sales talk with them. Just tell them that you've changed your attitude and you want a mutual agreement for both parties to change the attitude. Now, from here on out, all of us are going the extra mile. We're going to relate ourselves together on a different basis where we'll all get joy out of it and get more peace of mind and more happiness in living. Wouldn't it be a wonderful thing if you went home tonight and had that kind of a speech with your mate? Yeah? Wouldn't it be a wonderful thing? It wouldn't hurt. It might help. Now, the mate might not be impressed by it, but you will be. Nothing to hinder you from enjoying it. And that person in business that you haven't been getting along so well with, now, if you went in tomorrow morning with a smile and walked over to him or her and took his hand and shook hands and said, now, listen, pal, from here on out, let you and I enjoy working together. What did you say? Wouldn't work, huh? Oh, yes, it would. Oh, yes, it would. You try it and see. Try it and see. You know, there's a little thing that we have called pride, and if there's one thing that does more damage in this world than any other one, it's that little thing called pride. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to humiliate yourself if it's going to build better human relations with the people that you have to associate with all the time. Well, all of those remarks for the last 5 minutes are not in my notes, but I'll tell you where they were. They were in my heart. Thank you. And one of the reasons why you and I get along so well is that very often I deviate from my notes and go down into my heart and dig up things for you that I want you to have, little morsels of food for your soul that I want you to have because I know they're good. I know they're good because I know where I got them and what they've done for me down through the years.